All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Laura Canfield Show. This is the Create Your Life video series, going beyond mediocre to infinite possibility. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to share this topic with you, this discussion, information, wisdom from so many different wonderful facilitators of Access Consciousness. So we are going to be sharing some tools, easy tools, basic tools, tools that we can all use to start changing our life, to creating our life. So today, I'm joined by my good friend Fatma Albrecht, and I've known Fatma for at least a year, and oh my goodness, her energy is just so beautiful, so yummy, so joyful. And she's just so fun to play with, and I'm especially privileged that I get to work with her on several different projects, creating different things. So like, how much fun is that, right? So Fatima is here with us to share some of her tools that she uses. And so for all of you, if you would like to ask a question, you can write it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and come with us, join us on video, and share what questions you have, so that you can start to create your life with ease and joy. All right, so Fatima, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. And thank you, Alara, for the invitation to play with you. I'm so happy to be here with you, with everyone who's here. So grateful. Yeah, so grateful. So what will that create today for us, for the world?
So much. I already know it's going to create so much, just because your energy is so contagious, the joyful presence that you have. So Fatima, because you're new to the series, I mean, this whole series is brand new. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, how you got started with Access Consciousness, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So I'm from Germany. My name is Turkish, Fatma. Yeah. So I grew up with Turkish parents and German parents. I think that it's very important to know about me, because I grew up in these two different cultures, two different worlds, point of views, for my Turkish parents, for my German parents. And yeah, my whole life I was here. Then I lived in Istanbul a long time. I was always in questions of where would be fun to live. And I was working or playing with so many modalities. I always knew, actually, from my childhood, that there is something else possible. And I just remembered, preparing or asking questions about this series, and what came up, which is really awesome, that even as a little child, like 8 years or something, I was walking around in the house at my German mom's and always asking these questions to her, like, why is there Turkish? Why is there German? Why are my parents doing this? Why are you doing it like this? Who am I being? And I don't understand this borders, that this, isn't it just one world? Isn't it just one God? I mean, this was a big topic. My Turkish parents were Muslims, and my German parents Catholics. So I was like, this conversation, like the separation of God, the separation of countries, the separation of language, was always so confusing for me. So my whole life was like this, what can I do? And yeah, and at one point I studied actually photography. Mm-hmm. And from there I just felt like there's something else. So if you start sensing things and see more than other people do, it was always fun for me. My when I studied, I had my my friends there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fatma, you're so different from everybody else that we know. You should actually have your own island, and you would all move to your island because it's so awesome with you. Yeah, and for me it was normal. So yeah, at one point I decided to get married. I wanted to get married, And I did it, and I worked with all these modalities, and I traveled with my husband, and we were facilitating some other classes about some other stuff. And with everything that I used to play, it was like, for a time it was good. Mm-hmm. And after a time it was like, okay, but now we're stuck, or now I'm stuck. It doesn't go anymore somewhere. Yeah. And after my divorce, I had this time where I was very, very sick, like being in bed and just wanting to die for 1.5 years. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my life was always so joyful. It was always full of laughter and traveling, and money was never an issue and nothing. And suddenly this was all gone.
Wow. So
at that point, you know, when you're so desperate, I just started to pray. Mm-hmm. I was really praying, and I was like, God, please let me die. Mm-hmm. Please let me die. Please let me die. I don't want to wake one more morning up and be like, yeah. And, wow. I mean, I don't know if some of you know this, but this is, you don't wish that your enemy to have. You know, it's like,
it's awful. Yeah,
it's awful, because you know another life. You know, happy life. You know, laughing. You know, fun. You know, possibilities. Like all this joy, and then it's gone. And you know, after this prayer, there were actually 2 questions. Like, let me die, and if you don't let me die, God, wow, then send me a miracle. Mm-hmm. And it was just a week later, I visited some friends, and they were asking me all these questions. Like, who does it belong to?
Yeah.
What are you?
I don't know.
I'm the sick one. Yeah, I'm the one who's in bed. I'm the one who wants to die. Who does it belong to? I'm like, this is weird. They have changed so much. And so I visited them, and at one point, this friend of mine asked me a question. They just became bars facilitators. Mm-hmm. And he asked me that one question. Fatma, what would your life going to be like in 2 years if you would choose to go to a bars class? And this happened. First time after 1.5 years, I was able to breathe, like really deep. I was like, this can't be. I have to say that before I got so sick, or during the time I was so sick, I decided I don't want to be so much aware again. Because I saw things in people, I saw situations, I saw future possibilities, and it just scared me. Plus, I was made so wrong for this when I started to talk about it, what I saw or what I sensed.
Right.
No more awareness, but how can you cut yourself off of what you be?
Yeah, you can't.
Yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So I got into the corner. I was like, I have to ask that question again to myself, and no one is around me. So I asked that question, like, yeah, what would my life going to be like if I would just go to a bars class? Wow. And then I came to the point, I have nothing to lose. I'm already at the end. Mm-hmm. I have nothing to lose, so I'm just gonna do it. And I even said to that friends of mine, I don't have the money with me, so is it okay if I pay, you know, in parts? And they were like, okay, they're so good friends, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Next day, they just made a bars class just for me. That was on a Sunday. On Sunday night, I already looked in the mirror and I was like, something is changing.
Wow.
So the same night, I downloaded the Being You and Changing the World book from Dr. Dane here and started listening to it. On Monday, I listened to it. On Tuesday morning, I woke up the first time laughing, full of joy. I was able to feel my whole body. Each molecule was dancing and vibrating. And the question was like, wow, what is possible today? I'm alive. Awesome. And I jumped out of the bed, ran to the mirror, and I just looked in the mirror like this, you know. My eyes. I was able to see me again.
Wow. Oh, I have chills all over. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, thank you for asking and listening. Yeah. So I ran down because in that time when I was so sick, I needed someone to take care of me. So I moved in to my mom again. So she's 80. She's 80, now she's 82. So she was taking care of me in that time, and I ran down to her, and she looked at me, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, my daughter is back. Thank God. She was like,
yeah, nice.
And from that point on, it continued. People started to ask me what I was doing, and I was like, I did that class, and it's so awesome. And then they started to say, actually, if you start to facilitate that class, we want to come to your class because what happened to you just in a weekend is so phenomenal. We want to have that.
Of course. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. It's still, when I talk about it, it's like, wow, this was really the moment when I got my miracle. You know?
And it's what you asked for. You asked God to give you a miracle, show you a miracle. And so, I'm telling everybody, get your bars run if you can. Try that. Get the Being You Changing the World book. It's amazing. I have one, and it's in Canada, though. So it's in Canada, and I gotta miss it.
Order a new one.
Right.
Christmas is coming. It's a good gift for everyone.
It is. It's a great book. So if you can, get it. It's easy to read. There's so many tools in it, processes in it. You'll love it. So Fatma, tell me, what are some of the tools that you use now in your life to create more and more and more?
I mean,
yay, Caroline's going next week. You're going to get your bars run next week, Caroline? Sure she is. Yes, perfect. Yay, good for you. How does it get any better than that? Sorry, go ahead, Fatma.
One of the tools which I still use every day, 10,000 times, it's the tool, how does it get any better than that, and what else is possible? I would like to tell you a little thing when I really saw the magic with that tool. Yeah, if you would like to hear it.
Absolutely, yes.
So I was going through my divorce, right? And I went to my lawyer, and I had to drive 700 kilometers. They wanted that from me to go to the court and say, I want a divorce. And I went to my lawyer, and I was so clear with, I'm not going there. I'm not doing that. What else is possible, and how does it get any better than this? Sitting at the lawyer, probably I said that 20 times, so the lawyer already looked at me like, she's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm fine. And he came up with some other options, but none of them worked for me. Energetically, it was like, no, I'm not going there. I don't want to go to court. So 1 hour after I left the lawyer's office, I got a phone call from him, and he was like, Frau Albrecht, I don't know what happened. I have never seen that in my whole career, but I talked with the other side, yeah, and the judge actually just needs a telefax from you saying, I'm all fine with the terms, because all that was already done with my ex-husband. So all what you have to do, I want the divorce, my name, my birth date, blah, 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 and a signature, and send that there. 2 days later, I was divorced.
Wow. How does it get any better than that? You know, you
exactly.
asked. Yeah.
Right? It was just that one question, or just two questions. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? What else is possible? It was like a mantra on my lips for this 2 hours.
Yeah.
It creates miracles. I mean, it's so simple, so simple. Yeah.
It's so true, because I did the same thing when last fall, when I had like 2 days before they were going to kick me out of the country because I don't know, I didn't get some paperwork, or we were trying to get me legal here, get my legal residency, and if not, I would have to go back and whatever. So I'm sitting in the office, at one of the government offices here, and it's like, all right, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible here? How does it get any better than this? What else is possible here? I kept saying that, and being peace and calm at the same time, right? How does it get any better than this? What else is possible? And I don't know what happened, but they approved it, and they said, okay, no problem. There you go. It's like, what? It's like, oh my God, it was amazing. It was like, because going back was not working for me. It was winter. It's like, I'm not going back to Canada in the winter. No, absolutely not. That does not work for me. So I was adamant about what was not working for me, and that I wanted to stay here, and I wanted it all to work out with ease. And it was just like, it was one of those things, one of those miracle things when I didn't know exactly how it was going to work, but I just kept asking, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without knowing what the final outcome per se is, or how it should look. It's not a mental figuring out,
Not at all, because the mental mind would never, it just goes error, error, error. For me, it's always like, no, I cannot catch that anymore. Yeah. But with the tool, a turning point. I mean, I have been to a lot of classes after that. Mm-hmm. And there were always two things in my life I complained a lot. The one thing was, I don't have enough money to go to all the classes. Yeah. And I don't have enough money to live the life that I want to live. That one. And the other thing was something with my mom. Okay. So I was already, whenever I started about talking, I cannot do that because of the money. Mm-hmm. I was getting really angry about myself, that it was like a chewing gum that is too old in your mouth. You're all chew it through, the all blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And everyone started to say around me, just choose. And like, if someone else is going to just choose, I'm going to kill them. I was at a point like, really.
Oh my God. That happened to me Saturday night or Sunday night. Exactly that. It's like, I'm going to kill them. It's like, oh my God, just choose. Like, I'm so mad.
Because it was again at a point where another class was showing up. I wanted to go, but And I was like, okay. It was, I don't know, it was last year or something, winter, October. And I said, okay, I'm going to sit on the balcony now. And I'm not getting up until I know how that I choose thing works. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So what I actually did, I want to tell you, because this is so awesome. Everyone should do that. So I sat down and I was like, I choose to have money. And then I just waited and I checked the energy. Is that light when I say that?
Right.
Or is it and it was not light at all. So in that moment, I realized that I was lying at myself, that there were points of views and limitations that are actually holding me back, even if my mouth is saying it, but I don't mean it. So I was like, okay, I choose to have money. And everything that doesn't allow that, I now destroy and uncreate. The access clearing statement, right? Right and wrong, good and bad, pop and talk, online, shorts, boys and girls. And I kept doing this. And at one point I said, what is the value for me not having money? I mean, I had nothing coming up as words, but there was a weird energy. There was some, mm-hmm. So I put and talked all that. And I continued. Like, I choose to have money. still not light. So I actually engaged the universe. I was like, consciousness, universe, please help me. I really want to understand that, or I really want to crack that now. Change it. And Mother Earth and all the energies who want to be a contribution. And then I invited them, and I continued. Maybe it was half an hour. I don't know. Maybe 45 minutes. And I kept doing that. And at one point, it made, you know, it was just, really, I could hear it. I mean, not just sensing. And I said it again. I choose to have money. And it was like,
wow.
I was like, wow, what was I doing the last 2-3 years to myself?
Yeah.
Not choosing to have that.
Yeah.
So I finished that choosing thing. I got back in the room. 10 minutes later, my friend called me. She's like, I found a very cheap flight for you to Stockholm. You can go to that class now. I was like, the next moment, my partner called me and he was like, you know what, love, I love you so much. I just want you to have you there. I'm going to invite you to that class. I was like, what?
Nice.
Next day, I was flying to the class, or 2 days later, I was flying to that class, and I received a phone call in the hotel before the class, like a job offer, actually something so much fun for me. And the amount of money I got offered was like, really?
Wow, that is amazing. Wow, how does it get any better than that?
One choice.
And so Caroline was asking, can you explain what just choose means? So I think Caroline Fatma explained what just choosing means and what to do with it. And I love that, engaging the universe, engaging Mother Earth, engaging the trees and everything that can contribute to you to change it, right? And continuing to do it until it changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Never give up. Another tool, actually. Never give up.
Never give up, never quit, never give in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. You know, so because I was having this thing on Sunday night and I was getting so mad. We were talking about business, we were talking about money, and like I was literally mad. So I told Dane the next day, and then that's when he gave me my own personal clearing, which I'm now running constantly. And it's like, wow, you know, and it's just sometimes the charge around it, we get so caught up in it, into that story, right, that we can't get clear of it, you know, whatever it happens to be. But, you know, what you just did by sitting there, staying there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and continuing to do that and bringing everything in and asking the universe to contribute to you, to help you. Yeah. Right? That's beautiful. And not having a fixed point of view of what it's going to look like. That's the thing, not having a fixed point of view of what it's going to look like.
No, just the choice of having money.
Yeah.
And that was actually the moment when that changed, that I was really able to choose to become a CF, a certified facilitator, because that was so far away. So many classes I had done already, a lot of them, to go there. Still a long way to go, you know. And you look at your bank account and you look at your own classes that you facilitate, and you're like, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
It's possible. And then again, choose it. And what opens up, more people came into my classes. More people started to ask me if I want to travel to Austria, to, I don't know, Germany, someplace, blah, 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 to facilitate classes. And they already had people there. And I was like, traveling, facilitating, this joy, this laughter, this change for me and for my participants in the classes and for the world. Oh my God, this is really everything that I have asked for, and what can I create now with that?
Exactly.
And
what else is possible now?
What else is possible now? And I told you it was October, and in March I went to the CF training.
Yes, I'm going in March coming up. I've
Yeah,
waited way
we
too
both are
long.
there.
So if anybody has a question, you can type it in the Q&A, or you can just unmute yourself, because I don't know what I did differently today, but I can't see your raised hand. So if you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask away. Okay.
Please.
Caroline says, I'm going also, darn it.
Yes.
Good for you. Absolutely. And what else is possible, and what would it take, right? Okay, so that's something else I also asked myself, just bring that in, is what would it take for this to show up, XYZ to show up? And then leaving the calculations and computations and everything to the universe. I just ask, what would it take for this to show up? And then I go about my business, doing whatever I'm doing, right? Just having fun with life. And, for me, it's about what is ease for me. And so I just went to SOP in Copenhagen last minute, 2 days before. It's like, do I really want to go? I don't know. I don't really need it, but this might be fun. So, I asked, right? And I said, would this be a contribution to me? Would this be fun, right? Would this be ease? And I went, had a great time. Whew, great time. You can't even describe it, right? Met some wonderful people, and now, like, what else is possible, right? So sometimes the choosing, it's not linear, and and there's no direct connection to anything. But once you make a choice or choose something that is fun for you, that's light for you, then so much more starts to open up, right?
And Alara, how much were you willing to receive what the universe is going to show you then?
Yes.
That's another thing. How often are we asking for things?
Huh?
Door, and we're like, oh, I'm not home. And
Yeah.
you knock on your door and you're like, I'm not home, I don't want to look. But what about just going to the door and opening it and saying, thank you, Like, and then you can still choose, do I want that, or am I going to choose something else now? But just letting it in. And one other thing that always comes up in classes is like how much our barriers, they're here, they're so high around us. So this is actually another tool that I do every day. Where are my barriers? Like, here. Okay, can I invite my barriers to go down? Like down, down, down. And this is also the moment when I start to see and have the awarenesses what is around me. And then the receiving starts. The receiving is no doing. We often think receiving is something to do. No, it's just like being present and just letting it in and letting it through. And being grateful.
I love the lowering your barriers, and that is huge, because we don't even realize how many walls we have up. I'll use a common terminology, walls we have up. But how many barriers we have up to receiving anything and everything. And it's just, you just have to say the words. You don't even have to like have a visual or anything. You just say barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. That's all I do. And as soon as I do that, my whole energy expands. It's like I'm open to receiving. I mean, that's it. That's an awesome tool. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if anyone else has shared that with us, but that's brilliant. I use that a lot in when I was doing the 3-day body class, because it was my first time doing it, and I kept saying barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, and just receiving, and I've only ever done it during that and during the SOP, just to just receive more, but if we can do it in our everyday lives all the time, how much more can we receive, right?
So much more. And plus, with that conversation, I would like to add when we have our barriers down and when we receive, there's often some things. I mean, we're infinite beings and we are aware. I can sense you, I feel, I sense, I see, and then all this weirdness is going on sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel good today.
Mm-hmm.
And just this little question then, who does it belong to? You know, I always say it 3 times, like, who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? And then it expands already. It lightens up.
Yeah.
You know, these are so basic things, but what for me was so important, just because I perceive something, do I have to do something with it? Or is it just that I perceive it? You know, I just go into the next question and I ask, do I have to do something with it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything required of me right now? And most of the time it's like, no. I'm like, okay. And then I can continue. We are so much still in the, I have to do something. If I perceive it, so it's mine and I have to deal with it and I have to do. But what if it's a lie?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's something required of me, you know, just perceiving, because we're always perceiving, whether we are aware of it or not, right? We're always perceiving, but do we always have to do something with it? No. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. There's so many things that I just use, like these tools in my daily life. And when you start doing it, after a while, you start to live with it. It is nothing that you use. You start being it.
Yep. Being the question, being in the question, and being the question, living as the question, right? And it's also about, you know, every day, you know, like, as you're enjoying life, living life, you know, I always ask, what else would be fun for me? You know, what else can I create that would be fun for me, ease-filled for me, right? Because it's also about what's joyful for you. You know, it's not about doing, serving, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you're here to have fun. So are you having fun? And what does that look like for you?
The most fun for me is really when I'm facilitating, when I'm having my classes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the moment when I'm so present. So I love playing with that energies. And what I really love is, for example, in a foundation class, when the first day you meet the people and you look at them, and then we start and we spend 4 days with each other. And 4 days later, there's a different person in front of you. I mean, I have changed, they have changed. And this shining in the eyes and this gratefulness, this is really fun for me. And besides facilitating and creating, which is so much fun for me, I have to remind myself often, like, okay, what does my body want now? Mm-hmm. Or do I need a weekend just for me? You know, where I can be nurtured, or once a week, I have this once a week, it's my body day, body and me day. What I do is I go to the sauna here, or I do other things, or at least once, I love being on sailing boats, mm-hmm. You know, waking up in the morning, this orgasmic joy of living mm-hmm. is for me.
Right.
You know, waking up on a yacht or on a sailing boat with a beautiful sea and just jumping in the morning, the first thing that you do before you go and brush your teeth, because you just jump in, and this energy. And I always have that somewhere. And when I start losing it, I mean, like getting too confused or there's too much going on, it's the moment when I just say, stop. And I go on my boat and I jump in the sea. And this nurturing, this sea, for me, water is so important. And now it's winter time. Now that there is snow a little bit, for me it's like, like everybody loves it, water. Yeah. So how many of you have, or let me ask it in another way. When was the last time that you guys had an orgasmic joy of living, or a moment that is so orgasmic for you? That doesn't have to be that you copulate with someone, or hugging someone, or a conversation, some food. You know, when was the last time that you really enjoyed it? Mm-hmm. And do you really ask for it? So universe, what orgasmic joy can I invite today in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Shows up. Sometimes it's really just a toast that you eat that is
And it's
so
like,
delicious
oh, yeah,
in that
exactly.
moment that you're like, oh.
Absolutely. We've all experienced that. We've all experienced it. But what would it take to experience more of that? Colette, were you showing your coffee? Is that what you were saying?
Delicious coffee, orgasmic coffee.
But honestly, that is something that we can experience every day. And the more that we experience that, then it shifts our energy. It shifts our way of looking at life, right? And knowing that we can have ease, we can have joy in our life on a regular basis, not just on a special occasion, right?
No, every moment, every day. And why should we choose something or go for something that doesn't give us that joy?
Mm-hmm.
What's the value for that? For others? Just to please others? So, when you live just for you and just for fun, what would you choose? What would you drink? Would you drink a Coke or would you drink a glass of champagne? Would you drink, or when you go shopping? I mean, most of us here are ladies. So when you go shopping and you see something, touch it, feel it, what happens in your body, and ask your body. Always include your body in all of this, because
Mm-hmm.
it's the body who's having that experience here, right? The infinite being. No, it's the body.
Yeah.
How often do we forget to ask our body? And this orgasmic joy, when you are present, and the pure being of us is orgasmic joy.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And that joy is really indescribable. You can't really describe it. We call it orgasmic, but I don't even think we can describe it. And,
No.
And when you ask for it, it's kind of like your sensors are out, and so you're going to be aware of it when it shows up. But if you're not even asking for it, then it's hard to find it, right? So maybe that's one thing that you guys can all start to ask for. What is that orgasmic joy in my life? What does that look like? And am I willing to receive that?
Bravo. And with that questions, you ask a question before, like, what would be fun for me?
Mm-hmm.
Or what would I like to create? Or what would be orgasmic for me today? Sometimes we ask that question, but what I discovered for me, it's sometimes to write it down. I write it down, this question, and then the first things that pops up, I write it underneath. And the next day I write something else. And the next day I write something else. And then I have a whole lot of things I can look at. And the things that pop out from everything that I have written down, I ask questions around that. There are ideas, there are awarenesses that we have. And 10 seconds later, we have forgotten them. Mm-hmm. Especially when we want to create something. I want to write a book, and this is the title. Or I want to do. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
But what if you write it down, and just for some times that you take it out, and like, wow, okay, which of these projects, which of the things is the time now to do it?
Yeah. And what's really important about that is that we tap into all these different ideas. So you can ask when you get an idea, it's like, oh, is this for me or is this for somebody else? Is this for right now or is this for later? Right? But it's really important to write it down, because honestly, it goes in and then it goes out. Like, we're so busy creating all the time, receiving information all the time, that if we don't write it down, it's going to be gone. Because I tend to forget right away, and I get so many ideas all the time, right? And it's like, if I don't write it down, it's gone. But sometimes it's not for you right now, right? So don't force it, and ask, is this for me? Because sometimes it's not even for you, it's for somebody else, right? So it's all about asking these types of questions and getting the awareness from it when you ask, right? It's not a mental thing, it's getting the awareness. So can you just talk a little bit about that, about how you use your awareness to ask questions and receive answers or information?
it always comes in when I ask a question, and it's never a minute later or an hour later. Sometimes it takes a little while. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, I call it like bubbles, awareness bubbles. It's like bing, and I just know these are the moments when these awarenesses come in. It's like, wow, this is now something I can use to change something, or something is more clear, or and one of the things that comes up now, don't make it significant. Don't make it significant. It has no form, no structure, no significance. Yeah,
that's a big one.
These are actually the moments when you just know. Left or right, and I have to go left. And creating your life with that is so much fun. It's always follow the energy, and then you get like, I'm like, who and what can I add today to my life to have more fun? Mm-hmm. Just someone pops up, maybe someone I haven't talked to for a long time, or suddenly my phone rings. Mm-hmm. I ask the question, but someone rings me like, what are you doing today? Do you have time for a chat? Do you have time for a coffee or a drink or something? And this is how the energy, how the questions work for me. And this is the way actually I create. I don't have a big thing around. Most of the time, I just follow it. Mm-hmm. And I know when I don't follow the energy, when I do something against my knowing. We all know that. You should. You should. This is good for you. But then you say, for example, no, I don't come because my partner is at home and I can't leave him tonight. Mm-hmm. But you want to go home. So you are not present in that moment anymore with your partner. You don't enjoy the moment. You're like questioning yourself. You're like making yourself wrong. Like, what shall I do? And what if our partners, our families, our friends, even in the business, our business partners would appreciate it even more if we follow that? Can we have allowance, so much allowance for each other that you, for example, Alara, can choose for you, mm-hmm. and I can choose for myself?
Absolutely.
Fatma, okay, we said 9 o'clock we're going to have that meeting, but this doesn't feel light for me anymore. I would love to go there. And I would just say, okay, fine. And what will that create? Mm-hmm. But you said you have to do.
No. It really is about following the energy and being an allowance of maybe something changing and creating more. Randy, did you have a question?
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Hey. Yeah, the orgasmic joy.
Yeah.
I'm learning to heal MS and a spine injury. I've been bedridden for a while. It's epic. It's near death. And yet I think that the orgasmic joy factor that I'm able to invoke and choose and I think it's the most rejuvenating of all the experiences that are possible in the human condition, on a cellular level, the energy bodies, the mental and emotional energy bodies. So, I'm moving the energy down, it's soul integration. I'm moving the energy up, my Shushumna, relative to tantric concepts, which a lot of that information's been manipulated, so it's best to channel it if you want to know the best of it. From my experience, what's possible as far as understanding how to move this orgasmic joy and bring about the finest quality of healing and rejuvenation possible in the human experience. Where can you go from there? And thank you. I love you.
Thank you, Randy. And so good to see you. I've never seen you before. I've only heard you. So good to see you.
I offered to have coffee with you once, years ago.
Oh, that's beautiful. So Fatima, is there something that you would like to share with Randy about that, about the orgasmic joy of living and how really it is rejuvenating, isn't it?
Healing and clearing.
Yeah.
It is pure healing. It is nurturing. It is loving. It is caring. It is all this in one. You know, it's what we also call sexualness. Yeah, you be sexual. It's this healing, nurturing, creative energy also. And when your body, when you invite that energy into your body, I mean, Mother Earth, I just always call her Mother. I don't know, it feels like mother for me. It's like she is pure orgasmic energy, right? And what is she creating? Yeah. And what about if we would invite that energy every morning when we wake up into our bodies? And how fast would we heal our body also if we have injuries or operations or stuff like that? Yeah. It is, because the cells start to dance. There's joy. There's lightness. There's like, okay, we want to do that very fast. We're going to get healthy. We're going to go dancing again.
And what else is possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy.
Peace be with you.
Oh, he's so wonderful. So I'm just wondering, if anybody else had a question, and I'm just thinking about what other tool that we have used in our lives to create. You know, we talk about going beyond mediocre. So what does that look like for you, Fatma, going beyond mediocre to infinite possibility?
Going beyond mediocre is being you for me. Yeah. When you don't care anymore about what people think of you, what they talk behind your back or in front of your face, don't listen to the judgments anymore. When you're just like, this is fun for me and I'm going to live like this. I was faced with that my whole life. I cannot really say that I was ever mediocre. People always, from my childhood, they accused me like, you're so different. You know, I was like, never giving really I just say a shit about what they were saying, right?
Yep.
So my parents at one point they were like, you are crazy enough, you will do that, that's sure. And I never cared so much. This lately happened, you know, like, oh my God, is that all right? And I was so much going to the wrongness. So this was going into the wrongness of me was something new for me. That was mediocre. But in that moment, I also understood like how other people live, because I have never experienced that before. So this experience, which at first, at the beginning, looked so devastating, so bad for me, became a great gift to help people even, or to ask them the right questions, to get out there. What is being mediocre? When you don't ask any questions, when you live a life, when you're every morning like, oh my God, another day, what am I going to do? This is so mediocre for me.
And so much more is possible, right?
So much more, if really this judgment thing is such a big thing.
It is. It's a big one.
Receiving judgments, or
just, you know, that the whole concept of allowing the judgments to go through you. It's like, I'm better at it now, but it was hard for me. I'm much better at it now, but it was hard for me. And there's still some areas where it's like, and our own self-judgment, how much we judge ourselves, right?
Wow. I have one thing, and I wanted to make a video about this, is actually, do you have that, I don't know, when you look in the mirror, you see someone else. When you look at you, you know, you have all these judgments about you, like my nose and my breasts and my belly and these and that, and all these judgments come up when you look in the mirror. I was like, wow, okay, So are these judgments really mine, or have I bought them from somewhere? That my nose has to look in a different shape. How much of that judgments are projected at us and we bought them as real? And
so can you do a clearing on that? That would be a good one, I think, for everybody.
That's a good one. So so okay, all the expectations, the judgments, the projections, the separations and the rejections that are projected are on your body, that you bought as real and made it vital for yourself. Will you please now destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what for me comes up is like, can you be in allowance for that? You know, still look at you in a loving way, beyond that judgments. Even that is just a question. What is there beyond the judgments when I look at me? And then look again. Look at yourself from my eyes, or from Alara's eyes. How do we see you? And this is so different. So it is not real. This reality, they sell it to us.
They sell it to us. Yes.
Sell it to us. You have to look in a blue shape. Then there are all these very thin, beautiful ladies, and they're still like, oh my God, I'm so thick. Oh my God, I have to lose weight. And you know what? I want to say something about that. I mean, here in Germany, okay. But when you go, for example, to Turkey, when I land in Istanbul at the airport, the first thought that comes to my mind is like, I'm fat. I'm like, wow, who does this belong to? And I asked questions around it, and I got so aware that mostly all female have that thing going on in Turkey.
Wow.
It's not ours. So everywhere where we have bought that as real, we want to destroy and uncreate all that, please.
Yes.
Right. Good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And Randy was asking if you could do a clearing statement or clearing for healing and rejuvenation, or a process for around that.
Just let me do it. So everything that doesn't allow your body to heal by itself, all the points of view who don't allow that, all the feelings who don't allow that your body heals itself and gets rejuvenated. Do you want to destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right? Good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Everywhere where you're not aware of the healing capacities of your body. Whoa, do you want to destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Everywhere where you shut down your receiving, non-being, and perceiving about what your body is going to does want to tell you, what it requires to heal, to change. Do you want to now destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Wrong, good and bad, pot and pock. Ooh, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the points of views. Also, how many points of views do we have about healing? How healing looks like? Who is a healer? What is healing? How fast? How slow? How does it look like? Do we want to destroy and uncreate all of that, please?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Guys, this is actually a very cool clearing. How many points of view am I using to blank, whatever you want to put there, am I choosing? Now, how points of view am I using to create the blah, blah, blah I am choosing?
Mm-hmm.
And everything that is, do you want to destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and girls. And you can use that for everything. Yeah. How many points of view are you using to create the body you are choosing? That is the try and uncreate all that. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond.
Or the money or lack of money.
You know, how many points of view are you using to create the lack of joy or the lack of orgasmic joy of living in your life are you choosing? Woo! Yeah. Everything that times a godzillion. You want to try and uncreate all of that.
Yes.
Right? Bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. I mean, you could go on with that forever. This is really my very favorite clearings. That how many points of views am I using? It works for everything. If you have a headache, you know, it's all a point of view. Everything is a point of view. So when you have a headache or some pain, how many points of views am I using to create the pain or the headache am I choosing? Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So use it. And you know, sometimes it's not enough to use it once. I do it in a loop. When something is going on, I'm just like doing it over and over and over. And just at one point it switches and it is gone. So maybe that helps you too. I love it.
No, I love that. How many points of views am I using to blah, blah, blah that I am choosing, right? And everything that is, I now destroy and create it all times a godzillion, good, bad, right, wrong, POD, POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. You can use that for everything and do it like as many times as you need for the energy to shift. You know, you'll be able to perceive the energy shifting, right? So as it gets lighter and lighter, you know, and then it'll just click.
What is Dane always saying? It's your points of view who are creating your reality, not the reality is creating your points of view.
Yeah.
And that's so real. If I don't have any point of view about, I don't know why I'm always going back to my nose. I love my nose actually. I don't have a view about my nose. Yeah. And she's just beautiful. It's my beautiful nose. Yeah. And I can be grateful for her. Can I add that? Once I was sitting at a doctor, and we were talking about a medical doctor, and we were talking about about other stuff, actually receiving and this kind of stuff. And at one point he said, "Fatma, stop. What part of your body you don't like?" And I was like, in seconds, I started in my head. I started with my toes and my feet and my legs, genitals, stomach, everything. I went up and I was like, there is no part. I love my body and I'm grateful for it. And he was like, he never heard in his whole praxis that someone said that. But in that moment, it was so true. You know? Then I said, next thing I said was like, yeah, but you know, sometimes I have that belly thing, and he was like, this is so not real. Who does this belong to?
Exactly. So yeah, try that exercise that, you know, Fatma just shared with us about, you know, going through your whole body from top to bottom to top, or top to bottom, and being in gratitude for it, loving your body. And if you don't, then say, who does this belong to? Or interesting point of view that I have this point of view that blah, blah, blah. Or how many points of view am I using to create this nose that I'm choosing, for example, to say that, you know?
Exactly. Because when you're really honest with yourself, you love yourself and you love your body.
Yeah.
You know, all the things go away. There is you and there is gratefulness. And then you can be vulnerable with yourself and with the world. Because when you don't care about judgments anymore, when you don't care about the points of views about others anymore, I mean, this is so beyond this reality. You know, this is so beyond. I mean, this doctor, yeah, he said like, there was no one ever who said that.
Yeah.
Hello? What was going on with us? We should all wake up and love our bodies and us and each other. And
Exactly. And so what would it take for that to show up for all of us, right?
Yeah.
With ease and joy. What would it take, right? And so it asking, you know.
And everything that doesn't allow us to know, be, receive, and perceive the beauty that we are and the beauty of our body. Do we want to destroy and uncreate all of that times a gazillion, please?
Yes.
Oh, right and wrong, bad, pot and all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, this kicks in.
Some of us have some points of view about our body.
Oh,
We'll have to run that one again a couple of times.
Everywhere where you bought that shit that you are not beautiful, that you are not the most beautiful thing on this planet, will you please, first of all, send it all back to their senders?
Return to sender.
Right and wrong, good and bad. Whoa, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. It is not you. Your true being, the true body is just beautiful. You are unique. I always want to tell this people in my class, you are unique. You're one of your kind on this planet. How can you be beautiful?
Caroline says, can I move in? I know, right, Caroline? I know. Yeah.
Just because it just comes up, which I'm playing the last days with, is that's so awesome. Is your being in your body? Truth, is your being in your body? Yes, no. Yeah. And if it's no, being, would you love to come back into my body, into this beautiful body? And everything doesn't allow it, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And I do this, I don't know, I sense the moments. You get more and more, how do you call that? You know, I can sense it now.
It really is like tactile. There's a shift in the energy. Like for me, when you asked the question, is your being in your body? And I tuned in, and so for me, it's heat. I feel this heat, this surge of energy coming in, you know?
It's like something happening there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Ask that question when you wake up in the morning, like, oh, is my being in my body? No. Oh, we come back. Yeah, mostly when you ask that question, it already comes in.
Yeah.
And then just imagine if you are not in your body, who's living your life? Right?
Right.
Like, who's living my life? Who's making all these choices? Whose friends are these? Whose family is this? I'm not there.
Interesting. Wow. That is interesting. Yeah. I love that. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you. It's awesome. Just like, this is the awarenesses when it just comes and we continue, we create, we change. It's like this ding, 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 ding. Yeah, awesome.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so much. This has been so wonderful, hasn't it, everybody? Hasn't this just been so wonderful with just so many different tools and that maybe we hadn't seen before in the series, and or just a different way of using them? And just, yeah, amazing. Absolutely. Just beautiful. Wow. I knew it was going to be fun with you. I just knew it.
I know. I was so excited. Oh my God, what am I going to talk about? I always have that.
There's always something to talk about, though.
Thank you for the space that you be and for the invitation that you be, Alara, for a greater, much greater future and reality for all of us. This is awesome, having these shows and with all the other facilitators. And, you know, and it's free and everyone can go and watch it over and over again and change or choose or not choose or whatever, you know, but it's out there and that creates a greater reality of the world for all of us. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm receiving, and it is, and it's so much fun. And I know everybody else is having so much fun too, listening and just hearing the stories and hearing the tools, and sometimes in a different way, and just, you know, it's like, yeah, something else is possible. We can choose something else for ourselves. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your comments and questions. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. I think I'm going to see you later. Thank you, Samira. Thank you so much, everybody. So yeah, the replay email will be out in a little while. And yeah, definitely, it was a fun call. Absolutely. Thank you, Larry. And go back and watch this again. You'll have access to the audio and the video, but go back and watch this again because there's so many nuggets, so much wisdom. So thank you. So until next time, everyone, continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Thank you so much, Fatma.
Thank you. And how does it get any better than this?
How does it get better than this? What else is possible?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
And see you soon. See you soon, sweetie. See you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.